Yeah,
Nick's just got a couple minutes here. So first of all, I want to thank David Barnett. Thank you so much for the super chat contribution. You've got a couple questions on the table, but I want to give Nick his time, so we will get to your questions. So Nick, since you've only got 3 or 4 minutes, your best 3 or 4 minute take on Notre Dame football headed toward 2021 in regards to, well, in particular, we got a game time decision on the Wisconsin kickoff for noon. That's going to be exciting to see the Badgers and the Irish, I believe. Where are they going to play this first one? Is that at Lambeau?
Soldier Field.
Chicago.
Soldier
Okay.
Field. Yeah.
I knew it was
for
one
all
or the
those,
other.
welcome to my hometown of Chicago, Illinois. Don't judge me based off of the god-awful football field that we put on the lakefront. It's one of the worst venues in all professional sports, but I digress. But my thought on Notre Dame football going into kind of 2021, and Brian, I know you've touched on this a little bit. We touched on it a hair when you're talking a bit there about Brian Kelly and just the assistant coaches and the development that goes in, not just at offensive line, not just at tight end or any other position, is that this is a team that I'm real curious what they look like in September. And I think this Wisconsin game is really the one that really sticks out early on in the year. Florida State's interesting because it's kind of that helmet game, that matchup game. And you remember the 93 game between those two, the first trip for Notre Dame down there since the 2014 offensive pass interference thing that still irritates the living daylights out of me. But I'm very curious how kind of the first 3 games this year go, because how quickly can this team develop? Because I think that it's going to be a team that when you look at it, at the end of the 2021 year, based off of what we've seen and what this team has done here in recent years, and seemingly has gotten better for the most part as years have gone on. Really, 2017 was the last year where you saw the November fade under Brian Kelly. And I think that you have reason to believe that it's going to be a better team come second half of the season than it is first half of the year. But is it going to be ready in time? Is the offensive line, whichever way it's going to be constructed and ultimately look, is it going to be ready for one of the better offensive and defensive fronts that they're going to face in Wisconsin team in September? I think that game has just absolutely massive meaning for Notre Dame this year, that you're able to win that game and all of a sudden it turns into, yeah, this could be something special even if you didn't think it was going into 2021. Or it could be, all right, this is where the weaknesses, this is where the worries were really exposed. And that's my takeaway from whether that game was played at 11 o'clock in the morning, noon, or 7 o'clock at night. I think that's going to be a huge telling game of where Notre Dame is and where it kind of sets up for the second half of the back 2/3 of the 2021 year.
And you might have a quarterback with a little motivation playing in that game, possibly, right?
It's the season of kind of rematches or get even games. Marcus Freeman and Brian Kelly taking on Cincinnati in early October. Jack Cohen with Wisconsin right there. 2 of the bigger names, bigger games on Notre Dame's schedule. Definitely have the storylines to go with it, no doubt.